And I think we are live. Let's see if I can have confirmation that we are live on YouTube, because it will have some delay. And yes, we are live. So any questions that you have, feel free to shine them in on the chat. I will go through them. If I can have unless they are very weird. So if maybe they are, it's weird, I might not answer it. Because it will have some delay. Hello, yes, Hounds and Krille. Why did I scare you? Did you left the page open and then you heard me start to scream or something like that? But either way, it's weird. Some of you guys already have had questions. I didn't. By the research I made this sale, nothing to. Did you left the page open and then you heard me start to brag about? So something like that. No huge finds on deals. I think the deals that I found, I've already put them on the. I didn't on the answers to the viewers because I put a post like 2 days ago saying that I would be going live for the Christmas sale, and some of you guys made some questions. So I think I answered them all. I put the names of the viewers on the description of the video, and there's the answers. I've bought a lot of small stuff on Aliexpress, and I think there's where the deals are in right now. Good evening, Scruff UK. As I was saying, I think all the deals right now are on early bird deals. I've seen some like fishing accessories, some lures, some lines coming out, and that's the only nice deals that I've found so far. So good evening, Scruff UK. I bought a couple of smaller lures from Alblue or Blux, whatever you want to call it, and I've bought some line or something accessories. I'm hearing you twice. Okay, lures, some lines, and now. Good evening, Pargo 2000. I think now you should be hearing me perfectly, because somehow every time I open the Streamlabs desktop, something is different on the configuration, usually with the mics. Either I will not have sound, so it's fixed. Okay, thanks. Yeah, because I have sound like sound cancel on the mic, because I have the AC on, and it would be horrid, and I think it was recording also the sound of my desktop. So moving on, new stuff. There's some reels, but everything is very heavy, so nothing light coming up on AliExpress, at least from known brands. Delco has something out. Basically, no, I don't like, because I don't have the headphones on, so I cannot even hear myself speaking. But it would be nice. I think no one likes the sound of their own voices, at least sane people. Always sound weird. I know that I have like a high pitch, non-manly voice, but even people with nice voices, I think they don't tolerate them much hearing themselves. That's one of the reasons that I hate editing my own videos. If it was someone else narrating the videos, I think it would be nicer. But as I was telling, I answer your questions. I didn't find any like good deals. All the stuff that I'm buying right now, it's like early bird deals, but it's all small stuff. I have some things in here. I've put everything on a bag. So the Cast King Poor Man Stradic, the Valentic Ultra, has arrived. You're right. You did student radio. That's something that I regret not doing. I had the opportunity to do it on high school, and I didn't do it because I was like the class clown, and everyone invited me to do it, and I never wanted because I'm very outward spoken when I'm with people that I know, but when I don't know the person, I close myself in, and that's quite weird. But I never did it, and now I regret it because that was something that would give me more like tools for like the heavy day work. But I was telling you about the stuff that I got. Look at this. Camera will not show. I have it. Take it out of the pack. So look at what Letoyo is selling. This is a small crab where you can put your prized PB catcher hardbait lure or a pen. So very weird stuff. And then I got a bunch. So Zukibo asked me to test a bunch of their braid. I think they asked a lot of folks to test it. So this one I bought. It's a blue one because I wanted some blue braid. But they sent me a lot of nanofil that I'll be testing. The titanium coated braid and the 836 braid, the green one. So there will be a lot of testing. The only thing that this will mess up is the schedule. I was thinking of doing like the tier list for the braid on the New Year's. So like the first week of the new year, I would release the tier list for the braid, and this just sent a huge cog or spanner on the cogwheels of the that video, because now I have to test all this stuff before I do the video. Also on on the real upgrades, I'm getting a lot of ball bearings. I'm getting some things for my Ultegra. I don't know if the camera will show. I got a handle, which is let's take it out of the box. It looks quite nice, and I think it might save some weight. So it's a carbon fiber handle for Shimano. It has a very crappy um, knob, but I think I will take the knob from Shimano and put it in here. At least it's quite smooth and it's actually very well shimmed, I have to say. But it looks very good, and it will look quite nice. And it was very inexpensive, I think, for being a carbon fiber handle. I'm also very intrigued. That's why I'm postponing the video on the braid. I already started to make the cards like I did for the rods and the reels, but um, yeah, this is a huge amount of braid that I have in here to test. I'm also so this is the guy that is catching me. So people in the UK or maybe in France, this is the little guy that is catching me all the chub this year, and specifically this color. But this is a thing that I've noticed with chub in here. They will always prefer something with white, sometimes translucent, with the scales visible on top. I think they call it sexy ghost minnow, something like that. And especially if it's like have like a spot on the cheek. Um, for me, square bills or squarish bills all the way because they navigate better on current. And what else do I have in here? I ordered some, I think, Blux Celsius. Very small weight. If you don't have current, they will work very well. They are very small. And yeah, I think that's it. All the rest. Oh, I also ordered some Kingdom Micro Expert crankbaits. Also very small, very light crankbaits. That's the fishing that I will be doing for winter, except when I'm going for pike and zander. Other than that, it will be chub with small crankbaits. But just because you are so nice, folks, and you are watching the live, I will take the Cast King Valentiga Ultra. Look how cool it looks. and everything except this part over here, the cover for the body, everything it's like metallic and cool, and it has some upgrades in comparison with a normal Valiant Eagle. Like it has a one piece bale wire. I'm very intrigued by this one. It's my second, I think. Yeah, it's my second metal body spinning reel. I have a bunch of them on casting, and this is the first one. I'm very, very, very curious how the difference will be. And it's still quite light, so very eager to test it. But you had a bunch of questions, including the Screw UK. So the first ones, it's thoughts on Takuma P1 DC. I don't have it, so I don't have any thoughts. I was curious and I watched some videos. If you are interested in DC reels, please leave some comments down below. I will not be reviewing DC reels during the winter. I don't have the resources in terms of fisheries to use them, because it's very hit or miss. You might get like 2, 3, 6 Xanders in a day. You might get pike, 2 or 3 pikes on a day, or you might get nothing. And I cannot really lose a day of fishing to film a video. It's not. It will not. It doesn't go well with me. So I really like to go and go fishing, not go like 5 times to have a good day. That's a bit annoying, at least for me. Even if I go to new places, I don't care if I don't catch fish. But if I go to a specific place that I know that is fish, and it's just the way the fishing goes, um, I'm bailing. No Xander for me this week. The question is Portugal is that is like, unless you have a boat with and even with a boat it's easier, like on the beginning of the heat where you have the changes on the water mass where the cold water goes down. That's the easiest way to catch Xander. You Because basically they will go down on the water column, they will pack together, and if you have like any type of inexpensive electronics just to down scan them, you'll be like catching 30 on a day. But again, that's mm, not for me. But again, cranking and chub will be the way for the winter. So DC reels, let them mature a bit. I still have the Starfall to test. I've tested the Anatono, not Anatono. I have the Anatono Starfalls to test. I might wait it for mature a little bit and order a bunch of them on beginning of spring, and just do bass fishing with them. And maybe the Twitch chat, when the Twitch chat do the run, it will be actually a nice opportunity, because then I can catch Twitch chat with anything from 3.5 to 15 grams. So that would be good to test the DC reels, because that's a nice range. And on the spot where we have the Twitch chat, I can also go after some bass. And with that, I can cast lower weights if I wanted to test. But until then, it would be very annoying for me just go letting crankbaits drift on the creek and then just do casting on the main river just for the sake of it. I much rather to have like the casting tests going after fish instead of just casting to the oblivion. So now that we have some people in, let's answer the questions that you leave here. So I already answered this one, the thoughts on the Takuma one P1 DC. I don't have it. I've seen videos on it. It's supposedly quite good. The only videos that I've saw about it are in Portuguese. Some Brazilian folks make great work. They like they will do a massive amount of castings with different weights, with different lures, and it seems to be a very good reel. Again, with Akuma, I don't know how will be the quality control after the Lingxi fiasco, but if anything goes, the bait casting reels that I've had, I didn't see anyone complaining too much. But again, if I go through my affiliate sales, the Lingxi has a lot more sales, so there's that. Let's see what I have in here. So, okay, almost forgot to tell you about the sale on AliExpress. So basically, the sale, it's the usual stuff. If you go on the page sale, you will have some coupons that might be good for you if you want to buy any combo. So you have €2 in 15, 4 in 29, 7 in 49, 10 in 79, 15 in 109, and 20 in 159. As I said on the beginning of the stream, I didn't really look in here. The Casking Valantiga Ultra, €76. There's not a lot of massive deals. I think the deals that I found coincide luckily enough with the questions that you asked me about combos, but yeah, not a lot of stuff coming up. So new stuff that I've seen, I already talked about it. Also, it's small crankbaits. So you have this is all from Blue Store. I quite like the quality that they put on the stuff that they sell. So I'm growing fond of this type of presentation, like with a pattern, with a spattered pattern on it. This year I hadn't have any luck other than one time that I went fishing with a little bit of rain on the afternoon, quite late, low light conditions. Other than that, I've not been very lucky with like chartreuse and bright pinks, but more natural colors are working better. So, but again, look, early bird deal. If any of you guys have something to buy from choice, and you already have the 10 your currency there, this will be up for €1. So nice cheap small lure. I would think this will only work where you don't have any current, because it's such a small lure with such a round lip. But it will be like, I would say, a nice wake weight for when you have shallow water. And the colors seem to be actually quite good. Also from looks, one thing that is quite rare to see, it's a deep diver. 3.6 grams, 35 millimeters. I quite like the colors. I like this color. It's, even though it doesn't look it seems to be quite natural. I'm looking James Graham FC. I'm looking for a bait casting rod. 7 feet, 0 to 5 grams. I'm using Daiwa Alpha's Air. So 7 feet. 7 feet is a hard one. 7 feet. Let me think. 0 to 5 grams. That might mean that you want something aging. Or close to that length. Yeah, even close to that length, it's quite hard starting at 0. Um, Let me check. Yeah, this is 6.8. Yeah, and MBLE 0.8 to 10 grams. It's a solid tip rod. Um, but this is 220 euros. Then we have, let me check the zero. Oops. So the zero, yeah, the zero you can have it very similar. Look, 0.8 to 6 grams. But this is spinning crap. Okay, this is the version 7 foot 2 inches. 0.8 to 6 grams. I have I don't have this. I have the longest one, a little bit heavier. And you can also have um I looked at that, looks good, not cheap. Yeah, usually it's that way. Yeah, you have the zero, which is half, less than half the price. I think with coupons and coins and whatever in AliExpress it will run you like 80 euros. So that's quite a nice price point. Let me check. And then you have Me Fine. You have the microbite that is in here. So casting, yeah, 0.5 to 5. 198. 198, it's quite close to 7 feet. No, it's 6 foot something. I have this rod in travel, and just from holding it, I like it more because I have this version, the 2.2 meter, and I just prefer the, even being a travel, so 4-part rod, I prefer this one, the 0.5 to 5 grams. So this, it's quite close, but not what you want. I think you can also go with the Queen. Probably they will have also something on that. Um, on that. Geez, this is small. The maximum that they have is 6.6, and it's quite okay. Let me check again. Queen. Yeah, but Queen. I One thing that I wanted to address on this stream, I was very harsh judging the Queen artist, and I took it the other day to fish a stream, and I took it with the Aurora Air that I have with the ceramic ball bearings, and the rod is so accurate. It's annoying. It's like I'm good at casting with that. Yeah, but James Graham EFC, I think there's still something in here from Huing for sure. They are the guys that they love to do this. No, this one is too short. The artist is also too short. This is massive. Okay, but I would go with either the Zero, the Microbyte, or the NBMLS, because even things that I don't know from pure the experience that I have is that they are always top notch with everything I had from them. But from the ones I've tested, I quite like the Zero, I quite like the Microbite, and I would quite like to have the NBMLS. Um, what I was doing, I was in here, so I was covering the new stuff from Alblue or Blux, whatever you want to call the brand, and I quite like these colors. I know this they are pictures, but I've ordered like this one and this one. Hopefully, they will work quite well. Even if I don't think they will work very well with shorter rods, but if I have a long rod on the creek where I can center this guy, I think it will do some damage when the creek gets like higher volumes of water. And I think this one I also ordered. This is like a sinking minnow. I will be using this for twitching. I don't even remember. It looks like a zombie. It's called a night fog. 42 millimeters. It's I think quite heavy. Let me check. It's 3 grams, so it's not that heavy, but I thought it was heavy. So another one that I will have to swap the trebles for single hooks, but either way, it looks quite nice. And Leydun released a new um, braid, so it's a 8 strand braid, but it's black, and it starts at 0.6p. Not that expensive, so €6. A couple of hard lures for perch lake 12 foot. Yeah, this one. Where is it? This one should work because it says it's. I think where did I read it? Uh, yes, deep dive. I would guess that from the ones that I had, I would guess this will go like 2.5 meters. Um, unless you want to go with something sinking like the this one that will sink. Yeah, I usually don't like sinking lures because I will tend to lose them. But this year the twitching is working so nice that I want them to sink very fast so I can keep them near the fish. So I was covering the braid, black braid, if you want to a slick look. And let me check the questions. So Scruff UK ask for a sub €100 baitcaster setup for intermediate spinning fisherman. An accessible. That's a very good question, and my answer is everything in budget that is worth it. It's a Mi Fine Microbite. So just cast the casting version. I would go with this, or if you because you didn't specify. If you are listening, still Scruff UK. You didn't specify what weight, so I would guess that you want something that will go with most of finesse fishing. So I would go with this one, the 210, so 1 to 8 grams, because it will cover, I think, even some lures that you can use for pike if you have the smaller versions of them, or like fly type of stuff that you use on the UK, or at least I've seen people using, like huge flies that you use for pikes in canals. So I would go with this rod. So this is €44. If it's the travel version, it's even less. And I will go with Anatono Silverino, which is €30. So now it's even under €30. If it's finesse, just I would get something like this, the 210, or if I know that I would stay under 5 grams, I would just go with 198 because the tip is slightly thinner and you'll get more bend, and that will help with accuracy if you are fishing canals or small streams or that type of stuff. And it's a smaller rod, so it will also help you when you're on tight spots. Um, so 44 plus 27, I think it's 70 euros, so still under 100, and you can even put some Zukibu fake um, to spool it. So just get like the 5.3 or the 6.4 pounds, so under 0.10 millimeters, and you are good to go. One thing I will advise you, if you get this, or even if you're fishing with a leader, don't bother with fluorocarbon under 0.20 millimeters. My experience, even with the Daiwa fluorocarbon, um, I would not say with expensive. I've used some expensive cigar fluorocarbon, but then the price is just insane, even for leather. Um, because I tend to use. I will not, if I fish 2 days straight, I might use the same leather, but after a week, when you pick, you start to see the flaking, even on good material. Because I'm running like always bottom. I would usually always be running bottom presentations, and that just destroys the last um, couple of inches. So I'll be always swapping mine, and I would either go to very soft fluorocarbon like the Daiwa Prorex, and even then I only used, I think the measurement that I have is 0.23. That's the one that I use when, and from there I start to use fluorocarbon. But even if it's like under 0.27, I will always stick with one that is like it says soft or something like that. James Graham, I bought copy Ima Shapilur from Ali as I have the original. There is no different. I read. And how's it's a great, great. Handhouse has very good saltwater lures. I had some of them. I give them away because I don't like to fish that heavy, even on saltwater. But they have weight transfer. The trebles that come in for like a 5 or 6 euro lure are actually quite good. So yeah, Handhouse is a great Handhouse Nuebi and Blux. I would say Blux has some things now, but for saltwater, they are very affordable and very good. Some other brands have like good plastics, but then the trebles are trash, and you have to buy, and it might save you, and you might save some money. Like Meredith has very good um, the plastic itself and the weight transfer, it works great, but then you have the trebles that I would not say are bad, but they are not the best, or not, at least not as good as the ones in Blux. Scruff UK, is 130 a good weight for the reel on the 198 centimeter rod? Yes, it will be, because the way the casting rod held its weight, it's a little bit different than the spinning rod, and the mass of the reel it's closer to the blank. It's sort of like the micro tappy or something like that. The name that they use, the one that has like a tail on the end. If it's that, I also have them. It works quite great. Unfortunately, chub in my area only like to go after top water when it's crankbait that it's not moving. If I throw specific top water or wake baits, they will not care, or just short strike. If I just let the crankbait drift, they will boop it out of the water. But Scruff UK, yeah, the you will have no problems with the 130 gram weight. With casting combos, I think it's more about how you want to fish, because where you put your hand and the way the mass of the reel it's so close to the blank, you have a lot more leeway on the weights. And I agree with you with the Microbite 220. I've run the Surunoya Metis in it, and I've run what else? I've put a very light reel in it. I think it was the Kingdom, the Tagman. Yes, I put the Tagman in, and I prefer the weight balances with the Metis. I would go with the Metis one. I think the 180 to 210 grams. It's spot on the way I hold the rod. At least with the Microbite, the 220. I'm very eager to put the Ultegra in it, and the Microbite, the hollow tip, the 230 centimeters. I'm very curious to put the Pure Lure Pioneer Elite. That's something that I want to test on the balance. So, but yeah, you can make quite under 100 euros or pounds. It will be even less. Nice, comfortable combo. And again, if you are buying um, Baitcaster, the braking system that I would recommend for a novice, it would be this type of braking where you have a ring of magnets going inside of the spool, or Daiwa Mark Force copy. Because Mark Force C, sorry, because when you have the cup and when you have the ring going inside, usually this is not a rule, but what I found testing these many reels, that they will tend to be, other than the Takuma P7 Air, they will tend to be slightly overbraked, especially on the top end. James Green EFC, are you converted to this or do you prefer magnet? Since I do a lot of I would say stupidly light on stupid places, because you see a lot of people fishing with 1 gram lures, but they are fishing like on a lake or on an open area. And I fish 1.5, 2 grams everywhere, even on stupid places. I would still go with magnets if I had the option to do like 5 grams and 4, 5, 6 grams. I would use more DC, at least to test it, because I quite like the Miek, the Pure Lure Silver Feather Miek. I It's very good for what it is, especially being a bigger reel than the other silver feathers. The Anatono, and that's why sometimes I will do multiple fish sessions. The Anatono, not again Anatono, not Anatono, the Luxafi. The Luxafi DC, actually, there are some curb weights that it will run and you will see the braking system works, but close quarters, um, other than the Miek, I'm yet to be converted to go full DC. But it's a very solid option. If I had to introduce my dad to baitcasters, it's what I would put it in his hand. It would be probably the silver feather, the Miek. The brakes are so good, even in intermediate mode or master mode, they will work great. So this, let's cover another question that I had in here. Let's see. Let's see. Christmas gifts ideas for wife, kid, mother, and father. Uh, Alex Maxim. He didn't specify if it was fishing related, which I assume. Um, Fishing gifts are quite hard because Thanks again for the answers. I got to bail, pun intended. Yeah, a good night, Scruff UK. Thanks for being here and asking questions. Bye bye. So this is sort of a gift, I would say. Ah, again, also from these cereals. Um, yeah, the Shita Air. One of the versions. I'm not sure from my head. You can buy the side plate and the shallow spool for doing BFS. And hello, Rokoyoko. But even with I have a Portuguese a channel in Portuguese where I try to introduce BFS and super ultralight fishing in Portugal. And I will not say I work with a store, but I help curating the stuff on the store, and it has a lot of stuff. So I was able to try a Stella there. You were on TV? Why? That was, I tested the Stella, I tested the Curado DC, the smaller one, and I think on lighter weights the Miyake it's already superior, and I think the Miyake it's not even the best DC experience that you have from China. So what's the name of the Portuguese channel? I think it's BFS and XUL in Portuguese. I can put the link. So let's go back in here, and then yeah, that's the channel. I don't have a lot of videos in here. Um, I'm hoping for winter to have more time to to do it, but it's actually quite nice because I think the best catches, some of the best catches that I have this year were on the Portuguese channel. I've got carp on super ultra light, like Mifine Pegasus equivalent, and the ice fishing reel because it was the lightest that I could get in Portugal. Thanks, ounce. Um, and I explain how to get a setup on super ultralight. I have I think most of the things that I use from Supercontinente, other than the Tantas, I have from a brand from Ukraine, a white label brand, Select, which I think is related with Favorite, but I'm not sure. And so hodgepodge of things I'm able to have in Portugal right now, a lot of stuff that is making me able to do ultralight fishing and super ultralight fishing, and the BFS side is just like this close to being able to be done in Portugal. The Why did I do it? Because if you're a kid and you don't have access to a credit card to buy on AliExpress, you can still buy on the online store in Portugal because you can send a transfer, you can pay when you get the package on your address, you can go on the store. There's a lot, and your parents might be more complacent about buying you a kit on a Portuguese store, um, and that sort of stuff. So I quite like it, and the rods and reels are not that more expensive than on AliExpress. Uh, so uh, and even the presentations are getting down on price, so quite good. But enough of the Portuguese channel. I was talking about Christmas gifts. So Christmas gifts for this is the classic, something like a keychain with lure on it, that type of stuff. I think it's quite expensive, so almost €4 for a bottle opener. I know it's cool. It's a cool gag gift for the ladies or for your half your soulmate. Let's call it that. There's a lot of this type of gifts. So keychains, they have posters with it, like you're my best catch. Um, that sort of stuff. They will make costume. Like you can put your name on anchors. There's a lot of things like you seen here. You can get a keychain with your name and some Merlin. So as soon as you open the link, you'll be bombarded. So if you open the link for the keychain, you'll be bombarded with other stuff. But I would say if they fish, just get him like some nice lures, something like that. If it's fishing adjacent, something like a keychain. But I think I don't know if about you guys, but the best gift that I've got um, from my wife, it was this. When you're fishing, like the first few days for bass, where it's quite cool, or when you go after pike, and if you like coffee, that's very specific. But if you're in Europe, it's like even in the states, I think there's a lot of folks drinking espresso, and this will do a very decent espresso. It's USB charged. It's very inexpensive. This is from, I think, a Spanish warehouse. You will find this in any local warehouse, and the price will be under €30. And this will hit the water, so it's not like the other ones that you've seen that they will just pressurize the water with a pump and dump it. This will also do it if you want. So you can put already hot water, and it will make like 100, I will not, it will make like 20, 30 coffees. If you heat the water on this machine, it will do like 2 3 espressos. You can put I think Dolce Gusto, not Nescafe caps, Dolce Gusto caps and powder. Yeah, look. James Graham, you mean, is there a normal coffee version? You mean drip coffee? If there's drip coffee, I don't, I don't know. Basically use this one when I'm going fishing. I think I've recommended already on the channel. The only thing you have to keep in mind, it's if you don't use it for a long time, or the first time you use it, you have to put it to pass the water. So you read the okay, drip coffee. Ah, I I think I've seen one. I've seen some, but I don't know if it was on AliExpress. But uh, yeah, but basically you can put this coffee on a thermos and then just put a bunch more hot water on top of it, and it will amount for the same thing as a drip coffee, because this is just a concentrated version of it. um I really like it. It's sort of those things that when you have it, it's awesome. um so I this is one of those gifts. Even if it's just someone that goes fishing with you, it's quite nice. Other than that, I think it's, at least for me, if someone gave me a reel or a rod, I think it would be like, why? this is not a specific model than I want, or that, I don't know. It's very weird when you have a hobby and someone that doesn't know that hobby gives you something. It's it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I always imagine like someone thinking, "Oh, I will give you something good," and you're like a surf casting guy, and they give you like a Stella, the 1000 SS, something like that sort of stuff. It's never what you really want. Maybe something like that. I would go with a gag gift, so like keychain, that sort of stuff. Or if it's like a fisherman, just give them consumables like line, lures, soft plastics, hooks, things that it will. It's the equivalent of socks. You can never go wrong with socks and underwear. And I think we had another question. Yes, in here. I know it was from Pedro Reis, Portuguese fella. I know it's not really your area, but could you recommend a combo under 100, 150 for beach fishing? Light or ultra light beach fishing. So he wants everything: rod, reel, line, leader, and a few good lures. 2.7 to 2.9 meters, something like that. So he already has the Navikin Force, Birking Assassin, Microbite with Metis, Microbite Travel, and another Metis. So he just wants a longer one. And let me check. I've sourced this. So this is the Pure Lure Seabed. It's 2.7 meters, um, two parts, 7 to 24 grams. So not really my area, but I trust them. 146 grams, 1.8 millimeter tip. So not that thick. 86 euros. Caesar Prospect Carbon, the 3000 size, the medium high gear ratio. So nice high gear ratio for the beach. It will take 150 meters of 1.5 P line. The I would go with the Zukibo Firebird, the 1 P braid, so the or 0.8 P braid, and I would just get 300 meters of it, either one of them. So 20 or 17 euros. The red, it will actually be a very sick combo, matches the rod and the reel. And for leader, I would just get, as I said, this ultra light, ultra soft fluorocarbon, uh, also from Zukibo. And this, I would get it in 18 pounds, so 0.33 millimeters. And I think this will get you like, let me check, around 150 euros, where you can put the coupon. It's under 150 with the lures. It will be 150 euros, and then you can put a coupon and just get 20 euros of free stuff under that budget. For lures, again, as James Graham mentioned, Ant House, it's quite good. Black Minnow, nothing to mess with it. Under 3 euros, you get the head and you get the soft plastic. The head will have a EWG hook. You can then buy the soft plastic. This is 85 millimeters and 12 grams, so already inside of the cast weight of the combo. And you have a lot of colors to choose from. I would go with a more natural one, so like lavender, the 027 that is out of stock again and this one is also out of stock. So I will go with this, even though it looks quite weird, and I will go with the green ones. and this sort of stuff. Especially if I'm fishing near the end of rivers, I would go with this sort of stuff and this stuff. If I'm fishing the rocks, I would probably go with something a little bit more red. Uh, from Kingdom, you have this like very long, slow sinking jerkbait. If you go with the lighter models, which is what I recommend, so the 120 and the 143 millimeters, you get a very slick weight transfer system for extra casting distance. Again, under €5, pretty sweet deal. And house again, some top water action, 11.5 grams or 26 grams, depending of what you want. Looks quite sick in here. All the top water action that you usually see with sea bass, it's like, or even every type of fish, usually it's like bone colors on top water, on salt water. So I would stick with that. Again, €5. If you go with a shorter version, the top water pencil, it's under €5. Pretty, pretty slick on. For soft plastics, I would grab a bunch of these in 95 and 110 millimeters, especially the pink and the white. This will work everywhere if you get a smaller version. And there's even a smaller version than this one. I think there's a 60 millimeter version, and this will catch anything. I've caught small sea bass, barbel, bass. I have some trout attacks. That looks good. Surunoy. Yeah, most folks in Portugal that order from Aliexpress will either use Anthouse or Surunoia. And then you just grab a bunch of jigs, because don't get the expensive ones because you will lose them. And you're having 10 and 20 grams. This will work especially well for twitch shad and that sort of stuff that we have on our coast. Even some like mackerel, just get a bunch. And the cheapest way to amalgamate a lot of, especially saltwater, in terms of price, it's just going on the bundle deals, and you see that you have jigs in here, quite inexpensive. You have one of my favorite jig heads to use on grass, the ones from Samola. You even have small jigs, and usually it's less expensive than the so more jigs. um let's see, you even have leaders in here, vibe lures that also work well with smaller fish on the rocks. So more jigs. Basically, from saltwater stuff, I usually only go with jigs, if you can tell it. But basically, in here, if you look, like, if you do a search outside of like Sandhill, if you go with Sandhill, you will see that you will have a lot of options. Then you have like this sort of stuff. A lot, a lot of Blooks also make some good looking sandhills. And you see what I'm saying? You will start to see a lot of bundle deals in here. So this, if I had like a history of buying saltwater soft plastics and that sort of stuff. Look, the hand house, it's even cheaper if you buy it from bundle deals. So if I go now in here, you see, you just have to buy 3 of anything in here, which is quite easy if you're addict to buying fishing stuff. So you have the handhouse menu, and if I open it, yeah, this is annoying because on in here it works differently than on the phone. If you go on the app, as soon as you open this, then you will have the related items below, which also works to heading in on the on your cart on the side on your order. But yeah, this this is the cheapest way to buy like the yeah, James Graham. The bundles are quite. It's probably the cheapest way to buy cheaper stuff, and they have good brands. They have Leydun, they have Jonko. Magic Work jigs are quite good. Yes, especially if you let them fall. I have a couple of them. I usually don't recommend that because they. I think you should always start with the cheaper stuff because um, you will tend not to know how to pause during the retrieve, and if you're just retrieving, all of them will work great. um, Jigs and spoons, when you start to know how to work the spoon and the jig, stop them, pause them, then you will get frustrated because they fall all weird, and the fish, especially like mackerel, twitchhead, um, like that sort of silver hard mounted fish, they will not know how to strike, and they will miss, and then you will know that you need like a constant type of fall, and then you'll get like the magic works and that sort of stuff, but you'll lose a bunch of them on the bottom. So just start with the cheap ones, and then you'll be getting the good ones, like the ones from Magic Works that will fall great. Zegoat 609. Hey Ricardo, what would you recommend to fish in Rio Tejo? Dark muddy water with heavy current, target sea bass and croaker. Uh, for sea bass, I would go with what I told, the dark minnow. Cheap means don't mind losing. That's but Magic Work, they have like very good ones that it's like €5 a pop, and that starts to hurt a little bit when you lose them. Um, for Tejo, I would go with like the dark minnow, like either the dark minnow or the sandhill, which is probably what most people use there. And you can always use the Portuguese technique of zagaia with like a long jig, and then have a soft plastic on the tail end. That will also work. In Tejo, I would not go with hard bodies. And you can also try the. Where do I have it? You can also try this, like more elusive colors, bigger size. The way this vibes, it's actually quite nice. And you can put vibe, like you can insert like um, a glass capsule with beads on it, and it will make some noise. That I don't think it matters to bass, but I quite like this sort of soft plastic. And again, you can get it. Look in bundle deals, €2. Unfortunately, not a lot of sizes available or colors. James Green, I've started using Ned Drop Shot. I've used Nedrig this year, but the places that I have to fish for bass without any current are and like with enough depth are so few that it works very well. The Nedrig drop shot, it's something that I never use because I'm always like changing lures or or not changing lures. And drop shot is a commitment. So if you see me fishing for drop shot with a drop shot, maybe next year I plan to pick up a lot more my stand up paddle board. And if I pick up a lot more my stand up paddleboard, I might get just a dedicated rod for drop shot because I know it will work. Um, Forget you fish for bass more. It will work for bass. That I can tell you. Um, Especially like the beginning of spring where they are staging. I know I can deal a lot of damage with something that is like 20, 30 centimeters from the bottom. Things what do you think about the pure realm? The pure realm, I fish with it. I want to cry because I had bass until 1 week of the rod arriving. The rod arrives. I went to all my best spots and I didn't see a fish. I went even on a river that has bass on it and no barbel. I was prepared to go after barbel with it. I was prepared to go after, even try to catch some mullet just to have a heavier fish fighting on it. But I ended up on the creek fishing with the pure lure realm. And I have to say one thing that surprised me, it's the sensitivity on the lower end because it's not the best, but for a predator bass rod, it's actually quite good. So with like mine, it's the lightest, the spinning version. So it's again with everything from pure lure, it's very well put together. And with 2 grams, even on heavy current on the creek, you have a nice feeling to the rod. Also, I fish, which I don't think I should, but I fish with crankbaits with it. And the subtleness that you have, so with that rod, it's also quite good. So with never caught a barbel on a lure in UK. Uh, this will work for barbel, the pink one. I've catch with it. Polaris, also pinkish reddish colors in Portugal will work for barbel. Nymph imitations on darker colors will also work for barbel in Portugal. Uh, Tantas, again, pinkish colors, especially after rain, where they might go after, like, if you have like muddy banks and you fish with pink stuff, letting it drift a little bit on current, you might get a barbel that is after like worms and that sort of stuff that is falling onto the water. Snails, they will get it. If you have like, don't you have like wild raspberries? If you have wild raspberries, you can get that sort of color in a tanta and try to to get it to bite if you know that they are there, because you have to launch your presentation before it arrives because they are very skittish and you you maybe you know that. um Pero Tsurunoya Proflex Travel. I've looked into that one, but with Tsurunoya, I think all their stuff it's good, but in terms of rods, um, I think there's always a little bit more delivery from Pure Lure. With reels, especially spinning reels, I would stick with Tsurunoya over Pure Lure from the experience that I have with the Shita and with silver feather spinning, and all the reels that I had from Tsurunoya actually quite good. But with rods, I think you get more value either from pure lure, or even on the less expensive side from Mifine. But the Proflex looks quite good. I would have to say that it's not a rod for me, but neither the seabed. I just because you asked that size, that's why that it was why was my answer. It because I know someone that has one. We'll try. River is full of big ones. 14 pounders. Yes, that's usually the bigger fish that I have in here. It will be barbel. They go. Thanks. I'm struggling to get a fish with lures in Tejo, but I will not give up. Man, I lived there for uh 25 years, and by then I never fished with lures, but I had quite a success fishing with prawns and squid. If you salt them, you can get like bream. I've got bream in Azambuja and sea bass there. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is that uh, with saltwater fishing, I would probably start with that bait and then move to lures, at least to locate the fish. Like when I'm choosing spots, I will do that. I did that in here in where I live now. It's a way to locate where the pockets of fish are, and it works quite well. Especially my recipe, it's I put like I buy cheap prawns. I put them on a old tub of ice cream. I eat all the ice cream first. Then I put like a kilo of salt in there, and I just put like prawns and squid bits and maybe some, I don't know, cannot remember the word in English, but some mexilhões in in there, and that's what I fish. Because when you take all the moisture out, it will get very springy, and you can hold them on the hook very well. And or maybe I would just start small if I was working. If I was going to fish with lures there, I would start very very small, maybe with even with a tanta, something like that. Start very small, try to catch small fish, and try to build my confidence from there. So you live in Villafranca. It's quite nice. I lived in Povo, so the beginning of the municipality. Yeah, you fish with Casulo. Casulo works well. Um, but I want to trick them with lures. Salted shrimp for the win. Yes, it's probably one of the best lures, and it's quite easy to have. So you don't have the hassle to go on the a special shop, a specialty shop. You can have it on the fridge for months because it will never spoil because it's salted, and it will stay on the hook very well, even without the stupid elastics. Last question. Looking for a spinning reel for 8 foot rod, 2 to 10 grams. I was thinking of 2000. Oh, man, that's a question that I can answer in a couple of weeks. But basically, now I have run it down to the Vanford Ultegra Stradic family, where I have the C2000 Ultegra, because I'm just interested on the mechanics. I don't want to pay the premium for the Vanford just to get the lighter grams. I really want to get the Luvias just out of curiosity. because I'm not that deep into fancy stuff. I'm just interested on the mechanics again. That's why I bought the Ultegra. It's the cheapest way to get like the slow oscillation movements. And I have the Pure Lure, and that I have to say it feels great. The Pure Lure Pioneer Elite, and I quite like that. But I also like the Regal, ah, the the what Legalis family. So the Vanford I've looked. So you can look at the Ultegra. The I bought the C2000 S on AliExpress. Yes, and it's the original one because I bought it on the Fishing On store. And I think I've paid with coupons on 1111 like 100 euros for it, or 103 euros. So very inexpensive. And it's 180 grams. If your rod is quite long, it will be quite nice for it. Uh, the pure lure, it's quite a little bit more. It's not quite a little bit more expensive. It's 169 euros before coupons. But I have to tell that the oscillation, and I will be doing a video on it. I just have to find Ultegra. Do you recommend? Yes, because so let me just grab them. So my problem with the Ultegra, it's not a problem. I have in here the Ultegra and the Pure Lure Pioneer. The Pure Lure Pioneer, it's a bit bigger as you can see, but it's also a taller um, spool. So this is 200 grams. This is 180 grams. This the Ultegra, I think I can shave some grams out of it just swapping the handle because I want a one piece handle instead of this one that will fold. But if you look, it's pretty smooth. Its internal mechanisms, it's the same as you get on a Vanford. Everything is smooth, everything is quite nice. Um, line lay on mine, it's I don't know if you can see on the camera, it's not perfect. And I thought that I would get how can I say, for every turn of the bail, I think I would get, or in this case, for every up and down movement of the spool, I think I would get a lot more turns of the spool, or in this case the bail arm. And with this, I think I've got seven, seven, eight, something like that. And with this and a very cheaply made chillant, which is like from the guys that make linear reels that are quite inexpensive and some of them badly made. And also this the amount of bail turns that you get on the for every up and down movement of the spool, it's around the same that you get on the Cast King, Castrol, and Valiant Eagle family. So that it was a little bit of a bummer because with Cast King Valiant Eagle, you just have like a gear. So on the DSCS system that they have, they will have like just an extra gear to make the movement of up and down slower. So the gear it's parallel to the other ones, and with the Ultegra and the other wheels, you will have like a perpendicular set of gears, just with a worm gear on the side of the main spool, just doing that stuff. So I was expecting a little bit more, but it's very, very smooth, and it's again the same internals that you will get um, on a Vanford, just with a little, I think one less or two less ball bearings. One of them it's on the knob, and the other it's bushing that you have on the main shaft that you can swap very easily, I have to tell. And bushings always feel nicer on the beginning than bearings. So, but look at this. Look at the difference on the movement. This is pure smoothness. This has the same design of gearing as the Ultegra. You have a worm shaft parallel to the main shaft. You have like perpendicular gearing in here, transferring the movement from the worm shaft to the up and down movement of the spool. And look at the amount of up. Look at how slow it's the up and down movement, and how nice the camera will cut it, but how nice it's the line lay. Perfect parallel, and this is like heavier line because this has 9 kilos of drag, and I think the Ultegra has like 4 kilos, so 8 pounds of drag. So there's that. I'm very curious to put this one against each other because the I can tell you that if nothing breaks, the Pure Lure Pioneer Elite, it's the best reel that I ever owned. And I've held more expensive reels. That's why I'm very curious about the Luvias, because the Stella, I had it on the hand. It feels good, but it doesn't feel that price of good. Um, it's again, even the Vanford, I think it's very expensive for two extra ball bearings and a lighter composite body. The price difference for the Ultegra, it's just maniac. If you're going on saltwater territory like big reels, I understand, but with this you get like the machine gears, you get the worm shaft movement, you get why the price difference it's so big. And this body is actually, I think, from all the research I did when I decided to buy the Ultegra, um, I think the body it's even a little bit stiffer than the Vanford. So there's also that. And Shimano will be reviving everything again over the or around the 100 euro price point. So it will not be this year or the next year that will get like a revamped budget, of the budget stuff from Shimano again. So I think the Daiwa has reviewed the Crossfire, if I'm correct, two times since Shimano launched the Sienna, something like that. The Revros, the same thing. So Shimano is a very weird company. I don't like them under the Ultegra family. I think it's very, very expensive for what it is. Nasi, bah. It's very hard to justify it. If I had to buy something from Shimano, I will go with the one that I bought, the Ultegra, or I just get the FX, the cheapest one, because it's too expensive. Does anyone has any more questions? Because, but again, I was telling, I've videoed a bunch of reels. Some of them claim to have a slower oscillation, and I will try to make some coherent answer of what's the difference between them. Like, I measure the height of the spool, the turns that they do on the bail. So how many reps you get from down on the spool to up on the spool. I've bought the Curado BFS and it's probably the worst BFS I've bought. Yeah. Again, as someone that has had a lot of CDM reels, and I have uh, a Daiwa Tula 80, the Daiwa Tula 80 with the Gomexo spool. It's a lot better uh, than the Curado BFS. I think, in my opinion. Roko Yoko. I tried a Takuma Linkshi this weekend. Really great reel. I loved it. I bought it the 2500S. It says it would fit 150. Okay, the Caesar Red Bull. The Caesar Red Bull, it's too thick. I think it should be the 0.8. It's the same size. Do you think the Realm is a good option for beach fishing? Yes, if you get it on the size and the weight, cast weight that you want, it is because the rod is quite good, and I quite like the carbon fiber weave handle. I have it now on three rods, and I prefer it to EVA foam. I know that EVA foam is quite inexpensive, but also the one that I have from Marvelous. Pa, 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 pa. Daiwa is worth the investment. Yes, I think Daiwa it's a lot worth, especially on the lower end than Shimano. Zach Calvin, thanks. Have a Merry Christmas, Ricardo. Would you recommend any of the Takuma baitcasters for 7 to 28 lure bass lures? Maybe the Arnold or Monster. Let me just check if I have it there. Pa, 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 pa. So, as Zach Alfin was asking, if I have any of them to recommend, it will be this one, because this one it's quite small, so it will be Jesus. So it will be able to do the lighter stuff and everything. This is the Takuma Arrow. I think this is probably sold as other brands. So this is everything is metal. The spool, as you can see, for my type of reels, it's actually quite big, and I have a bunch of line in here. So I think this is it's the usual 0.8p braid from Ladum, and everything is it's metal. I think you can hear if my sound canceling will not take it out. You can hear the clasp closing, and it sounds awesome. It's not a great reel, but if you can get it at, but it's quite smooth. Um, Everything feels very well put together. If you can get it at the price that I've got it for around 50 euros or something, it's like pretty awesome. I will try to go for bass on the spring, which is unfortunate because I already have the reel, or I will try to go after pike with it. James Graham, thanks Ricardo. Have a great Christmas. Always check your videos for info. Thank you for watching the videos. I will have for sure a great Christmas, because all I will do will be eating, and getting even fatter. They go. Would you recommend to get a methane microbite to target some smaller fish? I have a major craft salt para 5 to 30 grams and a budget spinning rod from Decathlon. So the budget spinning rod from Decathlon, I know what it is. It's too stiff. It's a 2 to 10 gram predator rod. It's a very stiff rod. I would recommend it to get a microbite for everything. Um, you can get a microbite, as I told. You can go on bundles on Aliexpress and just get like small jigs, small plastics, um, that sort of stuff, and use the microbite for it. You will have a blast, and you can go on freshwater because if you are in in Villafranca, you can go to dams near you and just get a bunch of fat ass bass. Because in here I cannot get fat ass bass, I can only get bass. At least some of them are river bass and they will fight very well. Um, but yeah, over there it's a lot better for bass. So I always recommend the microbite. If someone starts the phrase with "Would you recommend the Mifine?" I would start smiling, and if they say microbite, I just say this. I don't even listen to the rest because it's such a great rod. That yeah, go ahead, buy it. It will be useful. It's not like if you said to me, should I buy the Illusion Slash or the what is the other one? The Ghost Blade. They are great rods, especially if you want to target small fish and have fun, but it's a very specific use case. Outrange, very specific use case. A lot of fun, but with a microbite you can do a lot of stuff because that rod will yes ghost that rod will accept punishment. I've caught barbel with it, I've caught big bass with it. Um, I've snagged huge pieces of wood with it. Damn it, I can get anyone to ship the microbite to the US. I've asked Mifine if they will be selling. They are studying to sell on Amazon. Uh, when they will be able to do it, I have no idea. If they get on Amazon, it will be a lot easier. We call it a Swiss Army knife of Oro, a jack of all trades, that sort of stuff. Like, how is the joke on construction? Um, for there, some of the professions in construction that everything is a nail, screw. You can put it with a hammer. Everything or everything. It's electricians. Everything is a hammer. You always will see an electrician with a screwdriver, multimeter, with the backhand of the drill, putting a nail in. Yeah. If all you have is a hammer, yes, maybe that's everything is a nail. Maybe that's the expression. Yeah. Yeah, one of the most fun that I had this year, uh, and I think I can show you, was this. So this is a rod from Mikado. This, not this, this. So this is a rod from Mikado that is, I would say, with 99% sure the same blank as the Pegasus, and this is a carp on it. And this is a ice fishing reel because it's the lightest reel that I could buy in Portugal, as sort of a budget. And even this didn't stress me. As I go, just get 1 to 8 or the 1.5 to 10, because if you will be fishing on the sea, you might want to get some jigs. You see, this is why I like, if this could take the punishment of a running carp, I would not stress with smaller, like smaller and lighter, or a little bit, in the case of the microbite, beefier rod. And I'm fishing with 0.1 p braid, which you can barely see on the video. And the video it's 6.23 minutes, and it covers all the fight and more. So it's not even that long of a fight, and it's a 52-53 centimeter carp. It's a Mikado rod. It's the Mikado Trout tubular tip. M Trout area, or M Craft Trout. Yeah, M Craft. It's like the a new, like, I would say a new like segment that they have with smaller stuff, and they will have BFS rods. They will have like a rod with a similar blank to the outrange, and yeah, it's actually pretty fun. Look, the ice fishing reel. So pretty good carp with a very 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 s- light rod. So very very fun activity, catching catching huge fish with super ultra light stuff. Also got it. Yeah, I caught the barbel, the big one, on the trout tournament. I was the only guy that caught a fish on the tournament. It was a barbel. I thought I should win, but no one caught the trout. Yeah, it was on a lure. It was and I'm very eager to get like the specific time on a specific river that we have nearby, and I want to go after barbel with this setup. Mikado has some lures on on the flask that they smell like Doritos, very cheesy smell, and they will work great for like carp and barbel, because you know that carp presentations in this carp baits, some of them will have like cheesy smell and flavor, and I caught it on a very small lure. Never catch carp here on the lure, and don't know anyone who has. Uh, I think it's an anomaly, because carp, they are feeding on the bottom. You really have to be lucky, because they will not actively go after the lure. But if you just send it and they just go over there, and they are not like triggered because they are very suspicious, they will eat it. This year, the weird stuff that I've seen, so I've caught boga, which is like casual police. Let's go to Douro for barbel. Yeah, we might. But one thing that I was telling, the weird stuff that I've seen this year. So I've caught barbel and carp on lures, I've caught a trout, very small trout, with a fly jig on the sewage like outlet. Um, what more? I have a friend of mine that was fishing with me and caught a huge, like I would say almost 7 centimeter barbel on the Pure Lure Zero. Um, with a jig, well, like a 10-gram jig, something like it, 8-gram jig, like a jig. We are fishing for tweed shad and it got a massive barbel. So a lot of weird, spectacular things that happened this year. I've got my PB chub and I didn't even see the fish. It was just like sleeping on the shade, and my tanta went near him. Ah, mm, mm, mm. And I think barbell also depends on the masses of water. So, like in Portugal, when people, as someone in the comments is saying, when people want to catch barbell, they will usually go to Douro because in there they seem to be a little bit more aggressive, um, going after, like, having predatory behavior, or going after like um, wild raspberries, that sort of stuff from the bank, that is falling from the bank. But yeah, in here in Ave, where I usually fish, it's quite hard. Always good when an unexpected fish pops its head up. Yeah, it's actually one of the best feelings ever when I've caught the. I think the video, yeah, the video is out by now. It's on the Tsurunoya Metis unboxing. The or the Tsurunoya Metis, whatever it is. It was with while I was testing the Tsurunoya Metis. The I think it's the best reaction that I had on camera was when I hooked something during that trout tournament, and it was a barbel. I think I could catch like a massive trout, and I would not be as happy as I was when I've caught the barbel, because usually I'm fishing so light that I've always will be losing barbels. Top water catfishing looks great. Yeah, I actually went catfishing. I took my dad and I went to meet with friends on a place that we have like the small catfishes, like the big headed ones that don't grow that big. And I had a friend that caught the some catfishes, and I was trying to fish with lures. I even took the cheesy ones, the one that I used to catch the carp. I've had some bites, but I couldn't capitalize on it, and I just went fishing for bass on the river nearby. I can, it's very 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 weird. So if anyone has more questions, we might go after them. So I don't even know how long the streaming is running. Almost 2 hours. So nice. Okay. Yeah, but I would really like to have some more surprise catches this year or the upcoming year. Yeah, almost 2 hours. So I don't know how to shut up. Let's just pop in again on Happy Holidays. How hot is where you are for Christmas? Because in here right now it's like 12 degrees Celsius. in almost midnight. I just bought some lures from a company called Harmony. They are like a grub and are cheese flavored. That's unfortunate because Harmony in here it's a condom brand, if I'm correct. So also sort of a soft plastic, and it might be cheesy. Oh man, I will die. Ah. Yes, Zagoat can confirm it. He is Portuguese, and we have like condoms in here that are called Harmony. Yeah, steel rubber. But in some of them, you have to have more trust than the others. Ah, man. Man, if I was like a normal, non reviewing YouTube channel, it would be like a nice challenge for. I don't know why I never saw it. Probably there's some guy trying to fish um, with with condoms. So that's for sure. There's a video out there with a fish that I feel very sorry for with a condom on the corner of his mouth. But yeah, just one question, James. Are you located in the UK? Because the less Durex would be a good name for a lure. Yes, um, if they are like a direct competition for Z-Man, because Z-Man with Z-Man you get like very durable soft plastics and Durex. I English fellas will not understand, but in Portuguese the word for hard is duro, and Durex will mean like in our mind it means it will last longer. So it would be a nice match for Z-Man plastics. Yeah, I was last year on the UK for work, and I went with a lot of clothes, and it was actually the same as in Portugal, just more dreadful because it's a night earlier and it's a little bit more rainy. Do you have had Fini candies in Portugal? Fini, like Fini the brand, or Fini a specific lure? Because we have a factory that makes Fini gummies, right? Would say 80 kilometers from here in Spain. But if Fini, yeah, I was on Milton Keynes like on November, beginnings of November, and it was just dreadful. Unfortunately, my schedule, I was going early and leaving on the like on the edge of evening. Yeah, we even have a factory of this actually, and we can buy this crap on AliExpress. Yeah, we can buy gummies on AliExpress. Nice. So there's a thing that I've tried already. But I might try. I might try it again next year for bass. They are dumb enough to eat it. I think I've did it with what? Might be with worms. But you really have to be specific. I think the ones that you're mentioning, like the banana ones, the ones that look more like marshmallow, um, I think they will work better because they are softer and less brittle. Still waiting for Ali Wife Express. That website was shut down. It was actually true for some time on the beginnings of the internet. You were able to, and probably still are able to, order a wife. Um, Usually from it was from Russia. I think the original one, but I think you still can somewhere in some weird corner of the internet. Finigamis are really popular here in Brazil. They sell everywhere. I would get that Aribo is not as popular in Brazil because they were, at least I got the notice in the news in Portugal that they were caught with slave labor in Brazil, if I'm correct, in some sort of like agricultural plantation, something like that. Asia now, yeah, most folks will go to Pattaya, something like that on Thailand. Pagaya? I don't know. I think all wives are the same. Not worth to go so far away to get one. Just more work. I think every relationship, that theory, not theory, that case study of when you get the lottery, your happiness, it will go until some point. I think relationships. You see, my Google Home was answering me because I was almost going for an opinion. Uh, and he's still talking. But as I was saying, every relationship, even if you get like unless unless she's under stress of being deported, I think all the relationships will get to a level of accumulation that will be the same. Um, I'm saying if um, culturally, just on a different culture, you will get to a point that will be the same type of relationship. And if the problem is what I'm trying to say, if the problem is you, so if your person, if you are the man or the woman, or the man or the man, whatever it is, on the relationship, if the problem is you, it will level out. Even if you go and get a wife from that is just marrying you to flee the war or poverty or something like that. Asia now, some great fishing in Potoya, probably. uh, you probably, man, so many jokes. You probably have a handful when you go for the clam and you get like a big torpedo. Ah, yeah, but it's actually a country that I would like to go. I would say almost all Asia. I would really like dig to go. If someone asked me to go to do a factory tour, and if you are watching Chinese fishing rod and reel and fishing components producers, if you want to get me to China to do like a factory tour of your installations, Feel free. Got to check the junk first. Yeah, I honestly I think most of the folks that go there specifically for that. It's like, oh no, I've been fooled. That that sort of stuff. Like when you go to eat your grandma's house or your mother's house, and you take already the stretchy pants, and you say, no, I'm on the diet, I'm not, you shouldn't have made all that food for me, but yet you pack your stretchy pants. I think that's the sort of people that go there for that. And I think that's um also a reality. I think they have a big difference in percentage of like man to woman ratio, and then you have all the guys trying to flee. I don't know if they even can flee doing the transition from. I think they just 3D scan original lures now in China and resell. They don't need to 3D scan. They have the actual machines that do the original lures. So you have the assembly of reels from Daiwa and Shimano in Vietnam, and I think it's Vietnam. So a third party country and Thailand, yes. So you have both countries doing reels assembly for reels and I think some rods also now in those two countries. But most of the internal components are made in China. So if you have anything from Shimano or Daiwa that is not made in Japan, you will get a reel that you might get like a reel from Birking, and that happened to me. You might have a reel from Birking or from what was the other one? I think it was Anatono. A spinning not Anatono. What I had some a baitcaster that I cannot remember that had a lot of the same components as the Shimano. So they just buying parts off the shelf in China. I think now they are doing some stuff already on. Man, I'm confusing Vietnam and Thailand. One of those countries, they are making like the shells of the reels there, so plastic extrusion, that type of stuff. But I think they still buy a lot of internals from the Chinese manufacturers. Uh, so they really don't need it. Probably most of lures, even some sold on Japanese domestic market on under Japanese brands, they will be made in China. I would be very surprised if like Megabass blanks are made in Japan. I know the margins. I know the amount that they sell. I know um, how much of the revenue they spend on marketing, and I think most of the blanks are not made on Japan anymore. I don't know if it's in China, if it's anywhere else, but for sure it's not on Japan. Soft plastics, you can do them anywhere. Um, the fastness that you can make them, but plastic extrusion, it's something that the Chinese right now just have to a T. And it's not the case if they make them cheap, it's the case that now they are the better. I don't tend to pull my stuff to bits like a Megaboss copy. Uh, yeah, with Megabass, yeah, I think it's the case. Unless you're guide like a Duo Realis, something like that, where you have like lower volume. With the volume that they have right now, I don't think they make. I would not say everything, but I think they outsource some of the blanks for sure. But again, I really don't care from where I. As I said, Chinese now are the best guys with CNC. They are the best guys with plastics. Um, they will be in like a couple more years the best guys with metal. Just the sheer amount of engineers that they have. Um, Now that just have everything and they can go full on quality and improvement, it's just what happened with Japan after World War II, but with an immense, bigger internal market, and everything it's exponentially faster because of internet and the faster traveling of knowledge. So yeah, I cannot find copy lures from some Japanese brands like Tiemco. As I said, probably like soft plastics and smaller companies will still have, but then you will see a lot of lower volumes. Even if the price it's not make again IMA and Duo, I think they will like the most sold stuff they will have and will source blanks from somewhere else because plastic extrusion, especially quality one, where you have like most lures will be made in two parts, so you have this part and this part. If it's not like a moving bait with like a two part segmented body, in this case, you have like two shells that need to be perfect, not a lot of flashing, and you have them to be perfect to match. That is a thing that you can make, but you will not be able to make it very fast, especially if you are on Japan and if you change, let's say, like you do like three or four new models every year. Every new model will cost you, if you are like just a lure making company, it will cost you a bunch of money. So, like a mold for a lure, it can run you anything from $15,000 to $50,000 to $60,000, depending on the quantity of lures or the blanks that you will make every single time. But then, the more lures you make on a mold, the more pressure and the more control you need from your machine. Um, it will be very very weird if the most sold stuff, the higher volume stuff, it's all made in Japan. Again, as I said, I work with plastic extrusion. It's not a easy industry, and right now the biggest guys in the world that can do it very very fast, it's the Chinese. You can ask for your own lure and they will have a production line in 6 to 9 months. So that's a big difference from a company in Japan that just makes lures. Because you have to remember, the guy in China, he doesn't care what he's making. So he will be making lures. He will be making plastic, the plastic balls where kids put the toys. He will be making kitchenware. He will be making everything. So there's a lot of moving parts, and they are the industrial capital of the world. Yeah, a lot of R&D in big companies, but you know what? There's also a lot in big companies right now, a lot of dividends to the shareholders. And with that, a lot of outsourcing of like buying machinery, commissioning new production lines, and that sort of stuff. But on the other hand, you have like pure lure reaching to local fishermen to develop like known fishermen to develop rods. You have, I would say, Noebi doing a lot of research on saltwater. So one guy's loss is another guy's win. I think the U.S. market, it's the West market and the brands that they have over there that like are interlocked with ours. They are just going to crap with all the private equity firms buying the ones that bought all of the stuff because of the COVID craze for like outdoors stuff. So now we will see a lot of bleeding on that. And imagine listening to a 30-minute ramble of the world economy by a fishing channel with gummy bears on the background. Let's look at this. I mean, everyone is impressed with the market, and I think they own the market right now. BFS, the best reels are Chinese, honestly. Um, Other than like one or other Daiwa that will just compete on terms of quality. Um, Top show, yeah, yeah, yeah. Next time I will invite like a economic specialist on the like do a podcast. Everything but fishing. And I don't know why is this showing me. Okay, it was showing me like things to make colors in hearings. Ah, man, not a lot of deals. And I think by now we'll only have like a couple of heavy rods coming out until spring, maybe a couple of lures. I would think now it will be a time that companies will, at least on AliExpress, the brands here will launch a lot of accessories like booms. I really like their stuff. I just got one of these for me. And the small Caesar one. Let's just go in here and see what's new. Yeah, these small scissors are cool. Yeah, but I'm on vacations on man, on Christmas, from Christmas to New Year. I will probably do a live. One thing that I really want to do, but time wise it's a bit annoying. I might try to do it on a weekend. It's to do a live on Jesus, this is creepy. Good thing you cannot see it. There's a doll head in here for some reason. But either way, I was telling I will try to do a live while I'm fishing. That would be. Here it is. This is a nice Christmas gift, and it's cheap. It's three keychains for €5. I think this is the store that has the phallic soft plastic. And if you are a member of the channel, I've just dropped the video of the test on the Takuma RP7 Plus, which is a very fiddly reel, but it works great on the lower cast weights. And I was fishing with a phallic soft plastic for bass. And that will be a members only because, again, it's on a very public spot that I don't want to spoil. It's this one, the BBC lure. Yes, very inexpensive. And there's more BBC lures in here. You only can see one because the image is a little bit cropped. Big Vex catcher. And they also have, look, the micro tapi or whatever they call it. The weird part is that I know the names of the lures because we don't have like a big culture of small lure presentations. I just know the lure names, the small crankbaits and whatever, and even the small plastics by the Aliexpress names. So this store has a lot. I think they had some gag gifts. So they have advent calendars, which is ginormous. Jesus, this is what I call an assortment of crap. You have socks, you have salt water, spoons, spoons, a rod holder, some cheap glasses, some very cheap net. I don't know what it is. Urban wanker, something like that. In here, leather, like metallic line leaders, bobber stoppers, very small. Some leash, like awful grips. Yeah, it's crap calendar. You know who would buy this? Like your mother-in-law. If this was on Timo, oh look, my son-in-law will love this. He loves to fish. You have a Trump spoon in here. The weird part of this store is that they have like nice things in here, like the BBC plastics. The plastic itself it's quite good. They have snails, fishy taste. Look, if you want to catch barbel, you might want to try these ones. They are snail soft plastics. Black carp exclusive rich in fragrance. I will put it on the card. My son would throw it at me. Yeah, probably. So this one it's a little bit less obnoxious, but still crap. I think I've showed this on the channel at some point. It's a guitar spoon. Look, this one with the hat. I have it. I want to put it somewhere because it actually looks cool. This is a nice gift. It's a crankbait with a hat. Yeah, but this store has a lot of weird stuff. But then again, it has good stuff. Look, this soft plastic, they look great. They actually look quite good. Yeah, it has a cap on. Yes, yes, yes. I have it here. A baseball cap. I want to throw it in the water somewhere because he will look another one. It's just a very weird amalgamation of stuff. So these boxes are actually quite nice, not with the crap that they put on it, but yeah, the lures itself, the soft plastics, they look quite good. The plastic, the ones that I have from them, and they also have the magic tantas that Rokoyoko also likes. Um, so this is one thing that I have on my short list to do next year: catch bass. So the afternoons where I've catch bass with phallic, I want to catch them with these small frogs. I think it. You have donuts. Look, donut spoons. Yes, Tanta. I think Luxafer has the TP Tanta, and it's a lot cheaper than the ones from Peak. Banana, Banana Mino. They have nice things. Look at this. This is a TPR Vibe Lure. They have an imitation from the Rapala Countdown, I think. They have a lot of stuff. And for some reason now I cannot find the Tanta. Where the hell is the Tanta? Maybe they don't have it anymore. But I for sure. So these ones are also nice. Um, for even for sunfish. Yeah, I cannot find the Tantas. But I swear that I ordered Tantas from this store. Yeah, it's a shame that they don't have the Tantas anymore. But either way, a lot of weird stuff. Here it is, the weird doll head. I will not click on it because then my feed on Aliexpress will be doomed. Tantas are good for mullet too. Yes, get white tantas. They will work great. I have videos, tantas and the white bait lure from Crazy Fish and from Super Continente, especially in white. Let me. I know it will not have any audio, but I have a video. Somewhere. Yeah, it's in here. Oops, not this one. So you watch UFC? Yes, yes. Mostly exclusive, like right now. I stopped watching football because it was getting too boring. So this is catching mullet with I think this is rated for 1.5 gram. Yeah, we can catch them. Depend. It really depends on the day. Usually, when I'm here, I'm going after bass, sunfish, or twitchhead. So, but with white tantas and some small spoons, you can get them by the mouth if you dedicate your time. So, if I'm going here with my dad and father-in-law, my father-in-law just focus on it with like a small spoon, and he catches like three, four, five of them by the mouth. But yes, you can do it. It will take you a long time if you're fishing with super ultralight. And then I think I've caught another one. You see, it's a white weight imitation. So, but it will work the same way with a small white tanta. So it's actually pretty cool because they pull very hard, especially if you're fishing with in a moronic type of fishing, like a sub. I would guess sub 1.5 gram rod. And you see the size of the mullet. It's not that big. I've caught bigger in here with other rods, and I'm trying to not crap myself out on the mud. But yeah. So bye bye, James Graham. I think I will also call it a day because tomorrow I'll be waking up quite early to take my kid to school, and maybe if it's not raining a lot, try to go and fish some more. Test my new crankbaits that I have on at least a micro expert, the one from Letoyo and Istalur. I know it works. So yeah, I might wail out. So if you have any questions that you want to be answered or try to be answered, oops, I I'm open for them. If not, I might bail out because we are going for some gonna walk the dog. I have to be honest. I also need to because I was drinking some vitamin water. I might I might want to go also to not walk the dog but walk myself in. Like go to try it here in Tejo. I know spots that are dozens of them in low tide. Yeah, especially if they're competing for food. Just throw the like very small. I would recommend like a nymph hook and some split shot and just just try to get it especially with white weights. That's the most luck that I have. White weights, small silver spoons, that sort of stuff. Single hooks are always better. With trebles it's quite hard to get them. And you have to be fast because they bite and they, I would not say spit, they are very careful with their mouth. So give it a couple more minutes and I will call it a day. 2.5 hours, it seems like a good number for a live. Try to find other weird stuff just very quickly. or maybe some nice deal. I don't know. Look at them. These are also very nice soft plastics. I've got, yeah, with how do you call it, water bobber, like the one that is like a translucent um like bobber where you can put water to adjust the um, the water bubble. Yeah, you have to go to sleep, and I think I will also call it a day. So thank you all guys for watching. I will see you guys on my next video, which is next week as usual. I think it's a Takuma P7 Plus Air Pro Max review. It's two separate videos because they were getting a little bit too long, so I separate them both. So one will be out tomorrow, the unboxing, and the fishing with it. It's 2 days ago, 2 days after, and you all, if you are a member, you already have access to it. And there will be like a members only bass session, is sometimes it will be usual, especially next year. And I think next week I'm just finishing the Fun Viper X, and that will be, it's a short one, so I put everything on one video, unboxing and fishing with it. And I'm just finalizing the editing on it, and I'll be doing that, and I'll probably try to squeeze another one for like, let's me check the calendar. So this week it ends on the 21. So Christmas week we'll have the PC Fun Viper X, and I'll try to squeeze something for the 26th. I would say the 26th of December, something like that. And that's all of it for today. Thank you guys. Thank you for the members for helping supporting the channel, and I will see you guys on my next